Hey there, Addy here. Welcome to another Lost Saves video. It's been a really rough summer in a lot of different ways. Big family stuff behind the scenes. Repeat heat waves that are literally causing the power to my office, game room, studio area to the breaker to flip constantly, which is dangerous for my electronics and makes it really tough to work in here, on top of the fact that to avoid it, I got to keep the AC nowhere near as cool as I would like, so it's a hot box in here. Just been kind of stressed and burned out. I specifically had decided to take all of July off of quote-unquote work, which is mostly just main channel stuff for the Epos Vox work. And that's kind of extended into August, as July was not really a vacation at all. I didn't play any games, hardly. I didn't really relax. I didn't do any of the things I'd hoped to do with my time to recharge and recalibrate to see where I'm going. So I'm extending it a bit. And I'm incredibly grateful. Like, I have the privilege to be able to do that in the first place. Don't get me wrong, but it's got me thinking a lot about appreciating the little things. And specifically using the little things to build up towards bigger picture change. Stress has been a part of my life basically forever. I've never handled it well. I feel stress a lot in my body, which results in some things I'm not going to talk about in a YouTube video, alongside, sleep issues, fatigue, whatever. And it's been pretty bad lately, and I've been trying to work through ways to handle and mitigate stress. And there are a lot of things you can do. From journaling when it feels right, not just forcing it at random, but journaling when it feels right to get thoughts out. Things that get the thought out. So journaling, art, talking to someone if that's necessary. For me personally, I have found that cleaning my space, reorganizing my space, sorting through my things and restructuring a bit is a massive tool for me to process and to kind of ground myself. It basically turns into a big act of mindfulness for me. And I never really realized that, because even when I was, a kid, teen, living with my parents, if I couldn't sleep one night, I'd be up at like 2 a.m. driving my parents crazy because I'd just be cleaning my room and reorganizing everything, completely reconfiguring my desk setup, or packing away whatever games I wasn't playing lately and pulling out new ones, sorting my toys, whatever, that kind of thing. A good 2 a.m. room clean and restructure was my form of therapy all through high school and college. As an adult in my own space now, I still reconfigure, especially for my work setups I use here for YouTube. I will completely, just like I said, rewire my desk setup or build a whole new setup or that kind of thing. I actually have a new retro PC gaming desk setup that I built as a birthday present to myself, taking over a kind of unused chunk of my game room that I will showcase in a future video. And a lot of that helped a lot, because the thing with stress is very rarely are you feeling a single stressor. It's usually either a cascade of multiple stressors that kind of build upon each other. And, if you have a big thing at work that's stressing you out, it's going to affect your home life, which is going to introduce new stressors. And then it all kind of just piles up. Which means you can't just address the one thing. You have to really give yourself room to breathe and reassess. And for me personally, I don't know if it's because I'm a terminally bedroom person, even though I don't work out of a bedroom anymore. But, I live in my space too much rather than getting out enough, or what it is. If it's the technical minded, if it's just my form of self-expression, I've always, instead of wearing my heart on my sleeves, I wear my heart on the walls and in my room. I have always just found a way to vent, a way to process, and a way to feel what I'm feeling without it being dangerous, and feel like I have control over it by sorting my stuff. It's not a direct response to the stressors, because I'm not doing anything about it, but it's giving me a framework to feel like I have control over something and start addressing my feelings and moving stuff around, sorting clutter, putting things away, finding new homes for things that have been in the way, or just kind of redesigning systems of stuff I get too often that's not working out, things that add kind of day-to-day stress or weight to my life, addressing those and processing those while allowing my body and my mind to feel whatever I need to feel with relation to whatever else is going on in the day or month or summer is a big deal. But that alone isn't enough. And that's something I'm really starting to realize as a grown adult, still learning how to deal with stress, is that there is no singular solution. When it was suggested to journal to me, I kind of scoffed a bit, not because I think poorly of journaling. In fact, I have always kept massive piles of notebooks that I fill up with my thoughts, with journal entries effectively, as well as notes for work. It's kind of a commonplace book. So I've got, things I want to look up, recipe ideas, to-do lists, that kind of thing. I've always kind of done that, but because the idea of just sitting down and looking at journaling in a vacuum and being like, "Dear diary, today I felt sad, and oh boy, I hope I don't feel sad tomorrow," it didn't sound like it would help me. But that's because it doesn't. I do still journal when I have feelings. I've had a lot of feelings about my kiddo starting kindergarten, and he's doing great so far. There's been a couple hiccups that we'll still have to figure out as they develop, but it's going great. But I had a lot of feelings about that, and that wound up being something I just kind of journaled about just because it was how it felt right to get my feelings out. Sometimes I write whole blog posts over on my analogdreams.zip blog when I'm processing tech philosophy or things about like AI or corporate takeovers of the world, those kinds of things that I think are at least relevant to my core audience. I end up writing them as sort of video scripts or blog posts that never end up getting made to videos, but often I do publish them as blog posts. Sometimes I just need to do something with my hands, so I'll make stuff. I'll paint D&D minis, or I will cook. I get really into cooking. I am obsessed with cooking lately, and if you missed it, I do have a cooking blog and channel, neurospicy.cooking. I'll link those below. Specifically, the blog is focused more on for picky eaters, especially picky eater adults who were never really catered to well by society, I don't think. The YouTube channel at the moment is just shorts about whatever I'm cooking at the moment. I'll be doing longer form videos as I can get to it. But those are outlets for me to just do something with my hands and be in my body. And that is what mindfulness is all about, is just looking at what you're feeling and allowing yourself to feel it in the moment. And then it's a lot easier to let it go. Along with, of course, reorganizing my space. Maybe doing a little escapism with books or gaming or hiking and photography. All of that together helps take the load off, helps manage the stress, and helps me retain my humanity a bit. And I think it's too easy for us to be sold on these trendy ideas, especially in the ADHD space. There's a ton of stuff that you could just get sold on that's supposedly going to fix your ADHD. And none of it will, but maybe those things individually might add together with stuff you're already doing and learning about to form a whole that could actually be helpful. And ultimately, that is what is important, is building up a system of tools and mechanisms that you can use in your life to deal with things. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's about doing the little things and getting it out, finding the little joy that you can. My wife and I were feeling super crappy the other day, and we had a little bit of time, so we just went out to our garden and finally weeded. Like I said, we've had massive heat waves, so doing anything outside has not been great. So we've not been, tending to our garden as we should. And so now that it cooled off just for a little bit here, it's about to get hot again. But when it cooled off a little bit, we had a morning where we could spend like 30 minutes, pulled a bunch of weeds, planted some new seeds, pulled out some dead tomato plants that were just not working out. And it felt really good to finally have that taken care of, to just be in our garden and to just do something with our hands that allowed us to kind of process our feelings. Instead of getting buried in phones, doom scrolling, watching YouTube videos and TikToks and consuming, just doing something and letting yourself be makes a mountain of difference. And I'm often really hard on myself about not sticking with doing X, Y, or Z enough. And it's because I have a varied, diverse set of tools that I can leverage that I don't need to do the same thing over and over all the time, because it would be less effective if I did. Sometimes just consistency of spending time on yourself in whatever form that looks like for the given day and making it through that day. Sometimes that is enough, and that will allow you to recoup and recharge as you go, rather than putting all of the weight on this one block of time that's your journaling time or your photography hour. If you put pressure on it, it's not going to work. Just some thoughts for liminal musings here that I had for today. Full playlist link will be in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support on this channel. I know it's been infrequent. Like I said, I've been on hiatus for a while. We do still have the Dual Com podcast going over on BBK Dragoon's channel. I have it linked below. One of my favorite things to make and be a part of. So please go give that a listen if you're interested in more topics like I talk about here. Like I said, I got a video coming on the new retro desk setup, which I think you all are going to love. I have a new kind of anti-algorithm series that I'm very excited for. I've been doing a ton of creative work on that I can't wait to show you once I'm back. And we'll get things back to normal soon. Thank you so much. Hope your summer is going better than mine. And remember to be kind, rewind.